Hello, welcome to Dundrol's podcast. I'm your host, Justin. Today we're reviewing another Marvel graphic novel. This time we're reviewing the Mighty Avengers, Earth Mightiest. Very redundant, Dan Slott. This came out in 2009. It collects issues 21 through 26 of the Mighty Avengers. And it's written by Dan Slott and illustrated by like 4 different artists. You got Steven Segovia, Khoi Pham, Rafa Sandoval. Oh yeah, just 3. My bad. Right. And this book takes place after Secret Invasion during the Dark Reign, right? Which if people, and I like that they do a little recap here, right, on like Secret Invasion and Dark Reign, which for people who don't know what was going on during this time. Captain America was dead. Bucky, what became the new Cap. Scarlet Witch was missing. You had like what else was going on? Iron Man became disgraced, and is like a bunch of Avengers are outlaws, right? And like you had like Norman Osborn was appointed the new head of Hammer, which is basically like a different, like a new version of Shield, basically, and he became like the head of the government-sanctioned Avengers, where you had like Matt Gargan as Venom or Black Suit as Spider-Man, Dakin, who was Wolverine's son, as Wolverine, Moonstone as Miss Marvel, Sentry was on the team, and Ares, right, and Marvel Boy, right. So like the book starts off with Dr. Henry Pym, who's one of my favorite Avenger characters. He was the original Ant-Man, right? He's at his ex-wife's place putting things in order because she died during the Secret Invasion, and so yeah, you just get a recap of what's going on, and at the end of the issue, he decides to change his costume again and become the new Wasp, right? Which they constantly make jokes about that. He's also has this robot who's like called Jocasta, right? Who's modeled after Janet, but doesn't nag or come off like a bitch like Janet did. Which it's like funny because like there's a point in this issue where like Jocasta asks Henry, "Hey, if you love Janet so much, why did you hit her?" And it's like, Jesus Christ, my boy Henry, Hank, can never, like, people will never let that go. Like, he hit his wife once, right? And then like ultimate, here it is. If that's so, then why did you hit her? I don't understand. It was one time. It's not like in Ultimates where he beat the shit out of her. Well, they got into a mutual, like, consented, like, combat situation with each other. Yeah, he decides to become the Wasp, right? So like what's going on in this story where they introduce like a bunch of characters. This story is basically them like establishing a new Avengers team where you have like the fake Vision, I think, and Stature, who's like Scott Lang's daughter from Young Avengers. Yeah, the Earth's Mightiest, part 1 of 3. What happens in this like story is basically you have this weird paranormal activity going on throughout the world, and like throughout the world, and like Scarlet Witch, who is back. There's a plot twist with her, but I'm not gonna say. Scarlet Witch assembles a new team of Avengers. Right, you have the fake Vision, you got Hulk, you got Amadeus Choi, who they call him at one point Mastermind Excello, which is fucking crazy because I just reviewed Mystic Comics, which had a Mastermind Excello comic book in that, so it's like, holy crap. I guess they are keeping some of the Golden Age characters alive, right? You also got Hercules, right? And like other members of this new team is Johnny Walker, U.S. agent, who's like the Republican Captain America, and you also got Jarvis, right? So yeah, they're fighting this guy who's called Mordred, who is trying to summon this like elder god, and the elder god is using Quicksilver as a vessel, right? So I really enjoyed this comic book, right? You also got cameos by the the current Avengers team with Wolverine and Bucky and Spider-Man. Iron Man tries to take over Hank's job as leader of this new group of Avengers, but he ends up screwing up, and Hank saves the day, right? Also, Thor and the Asgard, was transported away, and then you have female Loki here, right? So, like, I don't want to spoil the plot twist, but I really enjoyed this book. Lots of cool action. Reminded me of, like, Doom Patrol and, like, Shadow Pact, where you have, like, our characters fighting, like, supernatural, like, paranormal activity. But, like, all of these characters are scientists, so they just, like, magic is just science. We haven't, we haven't figured out yet. And it's cool seeing how Hank handles magic. I forgot to mention there's a funny scene with Hercules where he's like, "You're calling yourself the Wasp now? Are you a crossdresser?" And Amadeus Cho is like, well, like wasps are technically not female. Oh, there's the scene. Right. You don't think he's cross-dressing, do you? Why? There's nothing inherently female about wasps. There are male wasps. And do they name themselves after dead ex-wives? Love that scene, right? There's, the second half of this story, right, is basically, the Hammer tries to shut down, Hank Pym's lab, which is portal, it's like a doorway to an alternate dimension where Hank keeps his lab, right? And but the portal is linked to physical areas, right? So there was a portal to Pym's lab at a mall. Hammer agents show up. Casa had no choice but to release the tether on the pocket. Because of that, within 2 days, the Pym pocket, which is Dr. Hank Pym's lab, will basically get stranded in an alternate dimension, right? With no way to get back to the real world, right? So before that happens, they need to get this device that Pym helped build, but with Bill Foster's help, who was Goliath from Civil War, right? Who died in Civil War, right? And so what happens is that our characters have to go on a heist, which I love this artwork. They have to go on a heist to steal the inducer from the Fantastic Four, because the Fantastic Four Reed Richards won't give the dimensional inducer to Hank Pym because Hank Pym is, has anger issues and has made mistakes in the past. Even though Reed, you sided with Iron Man during the Civil War, you asshole. Which I really love the fact that post-Civil War, pretty much everybody agrees that, like, Captain America was in the right. Right, because back in the day, there were people who were like, oh no, Iron Man was in the right. It's like, fuck off. even Marvel's like, nah, Iron Man was in the right. Yeah, so they have this heist to get the inducer, and you have like Hank Pym and like Reed Richards have this battle of like wits with each other, right? Where they try to out science each other. So I don't want to spoil too much, but there's some cool plot twists in here. I really enjoyed this book, and I think if you're a fan of the Dark Reign era, you'll enjoy this book as well. There's lots of cool action, lots of like creative like tactics that our characters use because they're not the most powerful characters, right? I really enjoyed that when people get creative with the battles. That's kind of why like manga is losing to like comic books, because comic books is basically like, either they talk their way out of things or they punch their way out of things. You don't really get clever battles. Here you actually have some clever battles, right? So I really enjoyed this book, and there's some funny moments as well. And I guess there was a reason why Dan Slott is so high up in Marvel, because he actually knows how to write characters. I don't know if he's any good, if he's like good nowadays, but I would say this was a great book, right? I only bought this book for 3 reasons. One, because I was in the mood for Avengers book. 2, it was like the cheapest book at my local comic book, cheapest Avenger book at my local comic book shop. And 3 was written by Dan Slott. So then I really liked the lineup. So I was hoping that I thought this would suck and I would just trash it. It generally turns out it was actually a good book, and I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. I was super surprised that this was actually a good book, because I've heard nothing but terrible, I've heard nothing but bad things about Dan Slott, this book was actually pretty good. So my next comic book review is going to be The Ninja Files, Ninja K, also known as Ninjak. This is a Valiant trade written by Christos Gage, and I already started reading it, but I'm not going to spoil what my thoughts are on it, but yeah. Oh, and this book, I forgot it's like 15 US, so that's maybe like 20 bucks Canadian. I would say it's worth it, and it has 6 issues, so if you can get this book, I would recommend it, man. This had a very interesting lineup. Alright guys, peace. Oh, and there wasn't really any woke stuff. If you're wondering if there was woke stuff in here, there wasn't. In fact, there's stuff in here that they probably would look back and think, oh my god, that was very homophobic of me. Especially the scene where they keep they were weirded out by Hank calling himself the Wasp, and he's like he's like, dude, is he cross-dressing? And also there's a funny scene where Jarvis walks in on Jocasta and Pym making out. Let's see if I can find that. So that was funny. Nah, fuck it. Alright guys, that's it. Peace.